Today on Loyola News Chicago, we talked to one of Cheryl Swoop's former players about her experience with the embattled basketball coach.
Also, we'd have a look at some School of Communication students making their singing debut.
And what would you do if you couldn't eat bread, use soy sauce, or even drink beer? Find out how one Loyola student deals with some serious dietary restrictions.
All this and more on Loyola News Chicago.
From the Convergence Studio in the School of Communication, this is Loyola News Chicago.
Hello and welcome to Loyola News Chicago. I'm Patrick Grabarczyk.
And I'm Elise Haas. We begin this week's news with the ongoing investigation within Loyola's athletic department. New allegations have surfaced regarding Loyola women's basketball coach Cheryl Swoops. A former player said she alerted the NCAA of player mistreatment in 2014. Madeline Kenny tells us why a player decided that 1 year under Swoops' coaching was too much.
The Norville Center of Intercollegiate Athletics provides a home for Loyola athletic programs, but inside there have been some problems brewing for the past few years. Former Loyola's women's basketball player Kate Sohn left Loyola after the 2013-14 season, citing off-court issues with Loyola's women's basketball head coach Cheryl Swoops.
I was told I was disloyal, I wasn't being a good team player, and she mocked me, she humiliated me in front of the entire team and coaching staff.
Since Sohn's departure, 20 student athletes have left the women's basketball program in the last 3 years. According to Loyola's athletic department, 10 of the 12 returning players have quit the women's basketball team or asked to be released from their scholarships. The Loyola Phoenix reports Swoops mistreats players and crosses the line. According to Sohn, Swoops threatened players with the loss of their scholarships, leaving the student athletes on edge about their future. Sohn says that pressure was the reason she decided to leave Loyola's program to play at the University of Illinois Chicago.
Growing up, sports have always been an outlet for me to relieve stress and anxiety. And when basketball started to be the source of my pain, I knew something was wrong.
In 2014, Sohn sent a 5-page detailed letter to the NCAA voicing her concerns about Swoops. Sohn wrote, quote, "Coach Swoops played mind games with the team that created a hostile environment, making me feel isolated and increasing my anxiety," end quote. Sohn says the NCAA didn't do anything about the allegations, leaving her basketball fate in Swoops' hands. Since the Phoenix reported Swoops' allegations on April 11th, Loyola's athletic department has announced the university will be conducting an investigation into the women's basketball program. Some Loyola students say they were alarmed by the amount of players that are leaving, but they think Loyola is taking the right steps in this situation.
I think an investigation is the right way to go in any situation like this.
I'm not sure the timeline of the players' complaints, but I feel like, it had to start from somewhere, and I just wonder what took them so long in the first place.
Coach Swoops has declined to comment on any of the allegations as of right now. Her contract will be up for renewal after the 2017-18 season. Madeline Kenny, Loyola News Chicago.
Loyola Athletic Director Steve Watson said a group independent of the athletic department will perform the investigation, but the time frame of the investigation is still unknown.
The NFL Draft is back in Chicago for the second consecutive year. Fans are out supporting their favorite teams, and many are excited for what the draft represents.
Just watching these kids through college grow up, some of them local boys coming up into the big leagues, just seeing them do the natural progression into the sport. It's a great night watching these guys' lives change. I mean, it's a once-in-a-lifetime deal.
Fans are entering Grant Park for the draft's activities, which include a Ferris wheel and NFL museum. Chicago is Draft Town from April 28th to April 30th. The first round of draft picks begins at 7 p.m. Despite the draft's success in Chicago, the league is looking at another city to host the draft. Fans say that Chicago should be the host of the draft for years to come.
I mean, New York had it for how long? Why can't we have it for, at least 5 years, 6 years?
Nearly 200,000 fans took part in the draft last year, and the city is expected to get an economic boost for being host.
Finals are around the corner, and it's a time of stress and nerves. Javier Llorente reports on a way that students can de-stress.
Not everyone likes dogs, but there is no doubt that the love that they radiate is wonderful. At least, that's what Loyola Junior Kaylee Hunt says. She has always had dogs at home, and now that she is far from her family, she misses her pet.
It reminds me of my dog and like the happiness I get whenever I play with my dog or take him on a walk or bathe him or just like interacting.
Therapy dogs are a specific certificate category of pets that are approved for contact with different people. After passing an exam, these dogs can help students relax or even communicate in a different way. Ann Davidson works in the Canine Therapy Corps, a national organization that trains and tests dogs for being therapy dogs.
So we just make sure the dogs are friendly, they like to be around people, they don't mind being touched and hugged and all the different things that people like to do with therapy dogs.
When Kaylee meets a dog, her day gets much better. And this moment motivates her to reflect about the relationship between dogs and humans.
It makes you have almost an open heart and you're more susceptible to be like down to earth, and I feel like that's why people have really good relationships with dogs.
So now that exams are around the corner, if you are feeling down these days, consider having an appointment with a dog. Javier Llorente, Loyola News, Chicago.
Here at Loyola, we have our very own therapy dog, Tivo. If you want to meet him, you can make an appointment by calling the Wellness Center. The streets were closed off near Loyola's Water Tower campus for the annual block party. And people listened to music and enjoyed free food from places like Potbelly and Garrett's Popcorn. Although the weather was a bit colder than past years, that did not stop staff and students from attending the event.
Are you expecting an important Loyola email but haven't received it? Students are reporting that emails about internships, advising appointments, and even graduation have been filtered from their main inbox only to be found in their clutter box. Microsoft sent an email about clutter in August, then rolled it out for Loyola students early last semester. Some students saw it as just another spam folder. Here's what you can do to disable the clutter. Once you log into your Loyola email, go to Settings, then click on Options followed by Mail, and then Clutter. Uncheck the option that says Separate Items Identified as Clutter Box. Finally, select the Send Me Notifications box and save your changes. Loyola's Business School is moving up in rankings, that is. The 2016 Bloomberg Best Undergraduate Business Program list ranked Loyola's Quinlan School of Business 63rd out of 114. Quinlan advanced 54 spots, but ratings were only out of 114 undergraduate business schools this year. The Phoenix reports that Quinlan was the second biggest mover on the list, and both students and staff were pleased with the new ratings.
The state budget is deadlocked, and Chicago teachers are ready to strike. I took a look at what this means for students. Corey Schifrin has been teaching in Chicago public schools for 10 years. During that time, he's watched his class grow from 27 to 36 students. At the same time, the funding for education programs has only dwindled. Mitchell Elementary in Westtown has lost special needs aides, reading specialists, and librarians, and Schifrin can't possibly fill all of those educational voids.
Our schools keep getting cuts, and we're on our second round of budget cuts at my school, and we're a small school, and so those things, you feel it.
Due to the financial crisis in CPS and the state budget deadlock, teachers could see cuts in their salaries and long-term benefits too. Schifrin's in a two-teacher family, so they'd lose more than $12,000 every year. Schifrin says he can't help but worry about his family's future. And without a funding resolution in sight, the teachers union says Chicago is headed toward another teacher strike.
And it's kind of a way to band together to say, our values as a state are how well we fund our schools.
Chicago Alderman Scott Waguespack is a member of City Council's Education Committee, and he says education funding isn't just a Chicago problem.
You had Governor Blagojevich in for a while. Then you had Governor Quinn. The state was in crisis in terms of the budgets, and no one was really doing any long-term planning in terms of education.
Schools are funded by local taxes, meaning poorer neighborhoods don't collect as much education funding. For example, the Ridge School District on Chicago's southern edge spends about $9,000 per child each year. and just an hour away in one of Chicago's wealthy suburbs, Rondout School was able to spend about $28,000 per student. The districts themselves raise vastly different amounts of revenue, and even though Illinois gives more money to Ridge than Rondout, the current education funding formula doesn't counterbalance those disparities to level the playing field. So downstate Democratic Senator Andy Manar has proposed a new education funding formula that would redistribute funds from wealthier districts to poorer ones. But he faces tough opposition from Governor Rauner and the Republicans who don't want to see their schools lose money either. So whether it's redistributing funds among the districts or allocating more funds in the state budget for education, Manar says he will agree to any system that will lead to more equity for all Illinois students. Financial relief came earlier this week for higher education, as Governor Bruce Rauner signed a bill to send $600 million to cash-strapped universities. But no decisions have been made to help K through 12.
Coming up on Loyola News, did you know you could get a degree in Chicago and Spain at the same time?
And we talked to 2 Loyola students that are doing just that. And a Chicago police officer is building a community bonds through the beautiful game. More on that when we come back.
Life is full of distractions. Some are minor.
Crash, look who it is.
Others are more severe.
This can't be happening. This can't be happening.
Of course it's not happening. Armored car. Listen, having money isn't about luck. Make your own coffee, save $1,000 a year. Feed me.
Feed the pig.
There are 57 crimes reported this year, more than last, but campus safety officials aren't shocked by the numbers. Campus Safety Sergeant Tim Cunningham told the Loyola Phoenix that none of the crimes are connected. The Phoenix reports that over the course of 8 days alone, from April 19th to the 27th, there were reports of 2 armed robberies and 4 batteries. Loyola students were victims in 3 of 6 crimes. All the crimes reported happened on or near the Lakeshore or Water Tower campus. Chicago police and the community are getting together in a way you might not expect. Erin Kelly reports on how the relationship between cops and Rogers Park kids may start to improve.
A new soccer program has Rogers Park kids and Chicago police on the same team. The goal is not just to win the game. Officer Brooke Finicky says it's about improving the relationship between the community and cops.
Giving them just a few officers to see that we are people, we are in a different light. They do feel more comfortable understanding the police.
Finicky says she's already noticed a difference in how the kids perceive her after just a few short weeks of participation in the Park District program.
At first being scared, me being an adult, me being a cop, but there's kids that I think forget that I am that at times and talk to me in ways that maybe they wouldn't normally talk.
10 Loyola students are volunteering as referees and goalies to help Finicky. Loyola student Elżbieta Wiebush says she was asked to help the Park District through the Criminal Justice Honor Society. Wiebush says the program helps kids stay active while also staying out of trouble.
Kids maybe know each other or are involved in a team-like sport such as soccer. It'll make them more unified and make them more community-driven and ties to the community so that they stay out of violence and criminal behavior.
Officer Finicky got involved in the program after the Park District contacted the police department, in part because several schools in the area eliminated their sports programs. The kids who participate in the program also spend time with other children outside their normal friend group, which may help to improve the community as well.
There's been kids that have come out that have never met each other and they've somehow come together for one cause. Some of them who've never played, and I think that's incredible because any kid, you have to have a good self-esteem to come out and play with another kid that you've never met or know if they know how to play or not.
But ultimately, the soccer program is helping to humanize the police, one goal at a time. Erin Kelly, Loyola News Chicago.
The program is open to 6th through 8th graders. It will run until May 27th every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 4 to 6 p.m.
The semester is over, and so is the international experience for our study abroad students. This year, a group of 20 students came to Chicago from Spain. They are enrolled in the new double business degree program between the Quinlan School of Business and the University in Spain.
Students would study with both schools and be able to earn 2 separate business degrees, one from Loyola University Chicago and one from Universidad Loyola Andalucia, by taking a set curriculum that was developed by the faculties of both schools.
Our reporter Javier Llorente spoke with 2 students from the new degree program to hear more about their experiences.
Thank you, guys. So I'm here with Georgia and Ignacio. Georgia, she's a Loyola student, Loyola Chicago student coming to Spain this year. And Ignacio, he's a Loyola Andalucia student who has been here in Chicago. I'm going to ask you guys, Georgia, why did you decide to enroll in the double business degree?
Well, I'm an international business major, and I figured that this program was very beneficial for me to learn about new cultural experiences, or to have new cultural experiences, and also to learn about how business is conducted abroad.
Wow, sounds interesting. And then Ignacio, you've been here 1 year in Chicago. How has the experience been, and why did you decide to enroll?
Well, I decided to enroll because I see the double business degree as a key to the world, because of the languages that you learn, because of the official degrees that you get, and because of the cultural experience that we earn too.
And how has been the experience so far?
It has been a great experience here in Chicago, already great exposure to the language, the culture, and I'm getting a new degree. So
yeah. So you've been 1 year here in Chicago, and then you're going to Rome.
I'm going to Rome, yeah. Well, I'm the first promotion, so I'm doing a summer, but normally people will do a whole semester in Rome.
Well, it sounds like a really good experience. So thank you guys. Thank you for being here, for sharing your opinion. That's it for us. Thank you. Back to you at the desk.
Next year, 4 Loyola Chicago students will study in Spain, and then they'll spend a semester in Rome before returning to Chicago.
Loyola's School of Communication students are not commonly known for their acting or singing abilities, but some SOC faculty and students had the opportunity to share the spotlight together. Joey Filer is a recent Loyola graduate and the director for the School of Communications music video. The film is an advertisement in progress that will feature singing and acting from SOC students and faculty. Filer says the project is supposed to sum up Loyola's Jesuit values, especially in regards to media. Even our own reporter Katrina Lim will be seen in it. Those working on the music video can't wait to see the final product and seem to appreciate their experience with it.
Well, I have had a lot of fun working on this music video. I think it's a really good opportunity to meet other people at the SOC and do something to bring awareness to what we do here and what our morals are.
It's been very fun. It's demanding. It's somewhat ambitious because instead of just filming one scene or one moment and trying to tell a short story, we're trying to sum up the Loyola experience.
Filer says the video will likely be shown at some School of Communication events as well as on the SOC website. He believes the project will be finished anywhere from 3 weeks to 3 months. Coming up, Loyola students finally get their taco fix when a popular fast food chain sets up shop.
And how does the declining number of bees affect our food supply? Stay tuned for more on Loyola News Chicago.
Who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks? Maybe you should go to your shelter and get a mature dog who will make your blues disappear. How's that for tricks? I got picked. Wow.
There will be some new tacos in town. Taco Bell is coming to Rogers Park and just signed a 10-year lease at the former Red Mango space on North Sheridan Road near the Loyola L station. There has not been a solid date set for the grand opening, but the franchise hopes to open by the end of the year. So Loyola students, keep your eyes out for the national taco chain and late night meals coming soon. And being gluten-free isn't as glamorous as it may seem. Taylor Utsick is here to tell us a story about the challenges of celiac disease in today's Loyola News Extra.
Thanks, Elise. It affects 1% of the population and can cause severe symptoms and illness. I met with one Loyola student who is living with the allergy known as celiac disease.
When I get to that point.
Throughout college, Loyola senior Amy Fantozzi has cooked most of her own meals. That's because for the last 11 years, Amy has been on a gluten-free diet. But it's not a personal choice. Amy suffers from celiac disease, a genetic allergy that requires her to eat gluten-free foods. Eggs are one of Amy's favorite meals because they are packed with protein, but not the kind of protein that will make her sick. Gluten is a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye.
The doctors always say, like, it's not just an allergy, it's far more severe because of all of the complications that come with it.
As a sophomore, Amy opted out of Loyola's meal plan to manage her condition on her own. While Loyola's dining halls do offer gluten-free items, students with severe allergies are able to opt out of the meal plan like Amy did. She believes that the growing awareness of gluten allergies over the last few years has made it easier for her to eat out.
So a lot of these restaurants have totally embraced it and everything, so it's not nearly as hard as when I was diagnosed.
Loyola's student-run pizzeria Felice's is one of those restaurants trying to make it easier for people with dietary restrictions like Amy. Felice's Vice President of Operations, Elizabeth Lucchesi Soto, says the staff is constantly exploring ways to accommodate customers.
We want to find a product that's still, good and tasty, that can hit the student's price point, not be super expensive.
Along with being expensive, gluten-free items don't always mean completely gluten-free. For people with severe gluten allergies, cross-contamination can happen when flour is just in the same kitchen.
We could never be a certified gluten-free establishment because of all of our flour that we use to make our actual pizza.
Restaurants like Felice's won't be able to offer 100% gluten-free options. Amy says she appreciates the effort. Taylor Utzig, Loyola News, Chicago. According to the Celiac Disease Center, 1 in 133 people suffer from celiac disease, but more than 83% of cases go undiagnosed.
You know, Taylor, I really can relate to Amy because I'm celiac myself, and so I know about all the challenges about going out to eat and all the health issues as well. So I'm glad you're telling this story.
It's a really important topic because there's so many people who do go undiagnosed, so I'm really glad we could talk about it on our show today.
Thanks again, Taylor.
Thank you.
According to Business Insider, nearly 1/3 of the world's crops depend on certain little creatures for pollination. These insects provide us with foods like fruits, nuts, and honey. Katrina Lim shows us why a large portion of our food supply might be in danger.
In his big backyard in Rogers Park, amateur beekeeper Ian McLeod takes care of more than 10,000 honeybees. He and his wife have been raising bees for 3 years.
I have to say at this point, I'm kind of attached to them. You are responsible for these colonies and you want to make sure that they do well.
This winter, McLeod says they lost about half of their colonies due to cold weather, and his hives aren't the only ones that suffered. According to Chicago Magazine, about 930 million bees died in Illinois alone in 2015. Urban farm owner Mo Cahill depends on bees to pollinate her berries and fruit trees. McLeod and Cahill are neighbors, and she says many of his bees come to her farm, which she calls Moa's Ark.
I would say on a nice sunny day when there's a lot of stuff in bloom that there's at least 100 bees here. Just honeybees from the neighbors' hives.
The rapidly declining bee population hurts not only the environment, but the economy as well. Kevin Erickson is the urban agriculture coordinator at Loyola's Institute of Environmental Sustainability. In addition to harsh winters, he says the bee population may be declining for several other reasons.
Colony collapse disorder, which part of is attributed to by pesticide use in conventional agriculture, as well as I think beekeeping practices in general can be unsustainable.
If all the bees die, honey won't be the only thing missing from our shelves. According to whitehouse.gov, Honeybees contribute more than $15 billion to the economy thanks to their important roles in the agriculture, cotton, and makeup industries. In order to help increase the bee population, Erickson encourages sustainable beekeeping practices and growing flowering plants in your own backyard. Although McLeod lost half of his colonies last winter, in the middle of the summer he hopes to have hundreds of thousands of bees buzzing through his hives. Katrina Lim, Loyola News, Chicago.
On a larger scale, some farmers are planting pollinator strips of color flowers to attract honeybees. Other pollinating insects include flies, beetles, butterflies, and ants.
Coming up next, one graduating Loyola student tells us her exciting plans for the future.
And our news team shares their fondest memories from the past.
There are so many fun things we all can do to be healthier, no matter who you are or where you are. So let's move.
Oh, here we go.
Let's stretch in the grass.
What a play!
Let's play tag.
Wow, unbelievable.
Let's jump up and down.
Oh, what a way to finish it.
And most of all, let's eat better so that we have the energy we need to play an hour a day, every day.
Everyone can play. Just go to letsmove.gov to learn more.
How you feel? How you feel?
I'm feeling good. Spin me, spin me.
Got you.
Oh, goodness.
Graduation is right around the corner, and for one student, it's been a long time coming. Blake Keller has her story.
Amanda Quisenberry is preparing for her graduation in the next few weeks, but her journey to getting her degree wasn't always easy. Here's her story. Growing up in an athletic family and having a love for sports, Amanda played basketball and volleyball, but she also had a love for news and she always wanted to write. She was about to finish up her senior year of high school when her life changed forever. On Veterans Day of 1997, Amanda and a few of her teammates were in a serious car accident.
I just suddenly realized I couldn't move. So I just said, I can't move. And it kind of all just hit me at one point at that moment. And I just looked at her and I said, I'm never gonna walk again. I'm never gonna walk again.
Between visits at home and the hospital, Amanda received tutoring and graduated from high school on time. She took the next few years off to rebuild her strength and take a stab at acting before moving to the Edgewater neighborhood in Chicago. She came to Loyola in 2011 to study journalism.
Being in Chicago, I don't know what it was. It just seemed like anything's possible here. So I decided it was time to get a college education and pursue this journalism thing.
Professor John Slania, the School of Communications Associate Dean, says having Amanda in class was like having a teacher's assistant.
But then very quickly, she became the leader of the discussion. She was the one that had read all the newspapers and knew all of the stories that I was talking about at the day, all the ethical issues, and she led the discussion. So she really drove the course.
While writing for class assignments, Amanda also wrote for the Loyola Phoenix and even has her own blog. Slania says that Amanda's hard work is paying off.
What I admire most about Amanda is her fortitude, the fact that she has certain challenges that other students don't face, but she always has a positive attitude about it. She never gives up. That she was able to graduate here and get a degree in journalism is a remarkable thing, and I'm really proud of her.
Amanda's journey to graduation has been a long road, and she is looking forward to what lies ahead.
I'm excited. I'm excited to be done. It was an amazing experience. I'm so glad I did it, but yeah, I'm ready to see if I can do this thing and be a writer.
Amanda will cross the stage with magna cum laude honors in May. Blake Keller, Loyola News, Chicago.
Well, Elise, Amanda is really an inspiration, and with that kind of determination, I think she has a bright future ahead of her.
Yes. Amanda is one of many graduates who will be celebrating their end of their college years this coming week.
And here at Loyola News, we have quite a few members who will be leaving the show for the next steps in their life.
The 2016 school year is coming to an end for Loyola New Chicago. We have some senior members that are graduating and moving on to bigger things, so we sat down with them to ask them what their favorite memories were over the years.
One of my favorite memories of Loyola was working at the Damon Student Center along with the most amazing staff on campus.
Most of them come from working at WLUW, the radio station. Started my freshman year and just stuck with it throughout the entire thing.
My favorite memories happened abroad while I was in Rome. I had a good time with my friends while traveling the world and getting new experiences and meeting new people.
My favorite memory as a graduate student has probably been being in classes that are both grad undergrad combined, because I've really learned a lot, not only from the graduate students who I consider my peers, but also the undergraduates who have really taught me a lot.
My time with Karate Club, I've been the president of Karate Club for 3 years, and just going to tournaments with them, going to practices with them, have been some of the best memories I've had at Loyola.
As you can see, all the Loyola New Chicago seniors took advantage of all the opportunities that Loyola had to offer them. We wish them nothing but the best. Macy Krupasevich, Loyola News, Chicago.
Well, at least it sounds like the next time I see you, we'll both be in a cap and gown.
I know, it's so exciting. I can't believe graduation's only 2 weeks away.
I know. And that's our news for today, and this is our final newscast of the semester.
And thanks for watching, and stay tuned for next year's Loyola News Chicago.
See you next year. Whoa.
Music is like,
my hands are so clammy. I'm like, yeah.